All right, so Matt, and maybe we can even just open the floor up, but just kind of discussing. I was talking to David Applebaum from Experience Yardley, and I think it's a good idea to kind of touch base. He's certainly in touch with a lot of the business owners, and especially as COVID is kind of escalating, and especially a lot of the businesses offer outdoor dining. A lot of them are going to be suffering coming up in the winter months. So I was thinking, on two ends, is there anything we could do more as a governmental entity to kind of, help the businesses along, or maybe promote the businesses or something in that angle? And then he also had some ideas about branding that we've kind of talked about as a town, and Experience Yardley's been doing some of that with the mural and things like that, and keep an open line of communication, because I know there's been some miscommunication in the past about some things. So I feel like it would give a nice forum and a good setting here to kind of bring these kind of issues up in this committee.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, the thing that I'm not clear on, and Paula, you may, and John, you too, you guys may have a lot more history with this. Experience Yardley is an organization that was Jeff and now David heading that. And then there's the Yardley Business Association, right? And how those two relate or work together or don't. And I know one does parade. That's the part I've never, in Harvest Day and other stuff, how those two organizations overlap, or are they even really two organizations, or are they the same people? I never really had a lot of personal clarity on that.
They're two separate organizations. I don't even know how to describe. Well, Yardley Business Association is more of just the businesses and geared towards those businesses. Experience Yardley was more events, I would say, wouldn't you, John? Like they would put things on to promote the town.
That's how I thought about it. It just feels like it's sort of now there's a morphing of the two that is a little bit, which is fine. It's more an observation, anything else. That it's how they relate. I was curious how they relate to each other. Makes sense.
I think it would be good that they come together a little bit. It seems like there was always in the past maybe some separation, that it was almost like I don't want to say didn't want to be friends, but it just seemed it was an us against them kind of thing to a point, in my opinion, just from watching. But I think it would be a good thing for the town if they came together on some things. And
this could be a great forum for it too. Maybe inviting, both at the same time, and is Rich Cole still the head of YBA this year?
He is, but I want to say his term is ending like really soon, within the next week or so. And then it's going to be, I've heard that it's going to be a guy that has a printing company in Newtown, that he'll be part of it, because YBA is not just Yardley anymore. It's Yardley, Lower Makefield. So somehow this guy, I think he'll be a welcomed addition as a head of it.
Yeah, and that is another kind of distinction a little bit, is Experience Yardley is really more about events in the borough, and I think YBA has a little larger umbrella.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate that. That's interesting, right? I mean, that's important. That's an important distinction. Okay.
Yep.
But it's good to get that clarity too, because I even, Experience Yardley kind of grew organically, and I think Jeff, and this was something before Jeff left, I kind of talked to him in this committee before. He kind of had a business outreach organization that kind of, I think, morphed into Experience Yardley, from my understanding of it. So I was talking to Jeff about getting that up and running again, and then Jeff had moved. We were in the middle of talking about it, especially COVID hitting. He's a little harder to get hold of. So I think, that was his original thing. He worked with the businesses, saw it as kind of his platform and outreach to the businesses, and it kind of morphed into like, and he was really instrumental in bringing a lot of these events to town, that it was like natural for him after he left to coordinate. And they do a lot of coordination with the businesses, with the different promotions, and the restaurant week and things like that go on, that also not only promote the town but businesses. So I think this would be a great format to kind of start bringing these two entities together, because there's probably a lot of areas, and even talking to David is, there's probably areas where we can kind of all work together as even a governmental organization, whether they're putting on an event, maybe there's some way we can kind of work together, or maybe there's an appropriate committee or the rec board or someone like that would kind of maybe help out with an event.
Sure, absolutely. That's a good idea. And I think it would be smart for them to do something like that.
So, is there anything that, Paula, have you heard anything, or even, and this is where, thanks, I could certainly reach out to YBA, especially if David doesn't come this time.
Here he is.
Oh, great. But is there anything that businesses are asking for right now? If you've heard anything, going through the winter months, I know we've been extending outdoor dining. Is there anything else to be doing?
Yeah, Wes did spend a considerable amount of time with all of the restaurants with their outdoor dining with heaters, because they have heaters in the tents now to make sure that they're safe, they're secure, they're done properly, so there's no issues with them. So yeah, that's about it that anybody's been asking for. There hasn't been anything else. So hopefully, I think the governor's latest orders, I was talking to Kevin from the Continental yesterday, and he just seems to think that it scared a lot of people. So people just aren't coming out, which is a shame. I don't know what we can do to get people out, but that's their comfort zone.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Hey, David, thanks for joining us. Can you give us, because we were getting in this, and part of this committee, I think moving forward, we'll try to have more outreach to your organization, Experience Yardley, but also the YBA, and try to bring entities together where, everyone's, does really good work for the town. And is there ways that we can help out as a governmental organization? But can you go through, just for Matt, for my purposes too, a little bit more about the focus of Experience Yardley, and then some things that, if you have anything on your mind from your experience talking to businesses, or the events you put on, is there something more we could be doing as a borough to kind of help your organization promote Yardley and businesses of Yardley?
Yeah, well, sure. Hi, everybody. I can't really actually see who's on here. Hi, Matt, and hi, Paula. Okay, there we go. Okay, so anyway, obviously Experience Yardley is a nonprofit organization. Our mission is to, produce community events and do placemaking projects that not only, enhance the, as in the case of the mural, the beauty, but also to promote the town and to improve economic impact. So the economic impact is based on using these tools or these projects and events to leverage better for more us as a destination town. Obviously, we're not going to be New Hope. We're not going to be any other town. We're going to be Yardley, but to leverage the things that we do have to get people to come visit as either visitors, tourists, but also those that might be interested in opening up businesses, and of course maintaining our the residents and making sure that they don't that they love it here so much that they're not going to move out of town. But I'm all over the place because I got a lot of things on my mind, but I was just thinking we've lost at least 3 businesses. I know Dr. Hare, the bank, and what am I thinking about? There's one other.
Another bank.
Well, yeah, the other bank is probably, I was talking to him the other day. He's moving into Newtown. And I know one of the insurance companies, not for the reason of the pandemic, I don't think, but he moved out from Yardley Insurance. So, I mean,
Spa
we have
on Main.
Sorry?
Spa on Main.
Spa. Oh, that's what I was thinking of. Spa on Main. Thank you very much. So it's, there's a lot of concern on our part because, we definitely, that's one of our mandates is to make sure that the businesses, get value out of participating in our events and other projects. And so in any case, I think you asked me, what are we doing? Well, of course, I don't think there's a better way to promote Yardley than to tell everyone hashtag greetings from Yardley. I believe you can see it right behind me, in fact. It's I think it's a great way to, and a great tagline to get people interested in visiting and finding out what we're all about. So anything that you're doing, I recommend to put the hashtag up. We are, as we move forward, are going to do some contests or promotions with, we're involved heavily with Visit Bucks County. We're heavily involved with other Chamber of Commerce, like the Delaware River Towns Chamber of Commerce, which is located in Lambertville. I know that's in New Jersey, but it covers all the river towns, including the Pennsylvania side, including the landlocked Newtown, which I don't understand, but whatever. The idea, though, is that I think it poses a lot of interesting, ideas for the future of how to promote Yardley and this part of Bucks County. And we're excited about, though we weren't prepared for it initially, because we had to reinvent the things that we were doing and change gears. But we're very excited about the placemaking projects that we've done and the ones that we are going to propose. The thing that maybe some of the callers don't know is that we're in the process of giving out, along with our patron Spearhead Group, which is located in the grist mill, approximately 20,000 disposable blue masks to various restaurants and public safety organizations throughout Yardley Borough and those that kind of overlap with Yardley Borough, like LMT. And the idea is that they had all these masks in storage for some reason, and I think they used it for a different promotion. They were giving away stuff early on to hospitals, but now they want to, because the owners, Heather and Robert, live in the Yardley area. They want to make an impact directly in the community that they lived in. So they asked me to kind of assist in the distribution of them. So I'm pretty excited about that. And that's what Experience Yardley is going to continue to do. We're going to continue to come up with ideas, projects, and events that build up the tourists and visitors and locals experience here in Yardley, with the idea that the more we do, the more people will come and the more money they'll spend. Bottom line, right? Because that's what economic impact is. I'm sorry for droning on and on and on. Was there any questions?
David, it's Matt. It's super helpful, and I love the passion you bring to it. I just curious, do you find that you get more, I don't know if the word is take up, but more participation from like the restaurant, the hospitality aspect than maybe some of the professional businesses? Right? In my mind, there's more in it for a bar restaurant than there is for a realtor, for example, or like an accountant, right? I mean, that's sort of how your group.
I almost agree with you.
Okay.
But one of our largest patrons is Drew. Well, I forgot his last name. Fierro.
Yeah. Yep.
So you can't say that real estate agents aren't involved, because he definitely is.
Yeah.
For multi-thousands of dollars. But I do agree that there are certain businesses that are not on the main drag, that maybe they're home based or they're stuck up in the tannery, excluding the tap room, because we're working with them, that we would like to get more participation from, but we would also like to get a greater buy-in and distinguish ourselves from other organizations, because we are a nonprofit. So any money that comes to us is tax deductible. I'm not saying that's like it's a selling point that I don't want to make a big deal about, but it is a good selling point for many people, because it's like, oh, okay, great. I can, take it off my taxes. You're a nonprofit, you're an all volunteer organization. And it's, a community-based organization. We're not from the outside. We're all, well, two of us actually live in Yardley, and two of us have Yardley businesses. I'm a resident. Cindy Fastis is a resident, and Heather and Elizabeth, who owns the bookstore, have businesses.
Cool.
So, we try to make and do everything Yardley based. We don't do too much with outside people from outside of the area, because the whole idea is that we are a Yardley organization, Yardley Borough, I should say.
Yep, makes sense.
But I think you're trying to bring up a point maybe, and if you have any ideas, I welcome any ideas on how to get those people involved, to bring some value. I will share very quickly before I give the floor to you, and that is we are working on a entry-level sponsorship for businesses and for individuals and families to participate. Because one of the things I found is that, when we do Music on Main, when we do other things, yeah, we could put a jar out there, and sometimes we might collect $50 or $100. My best day was $200. But if I could get people to commit a certain amount of money and have a not just when I say skin in the game, obviously I don't mean it like a business skin in the game, but skin in the game because it's your organization. But also, as important, I need either volunteers or in-kind contributions. Getting help sometimes can be difficult. Obviously right now we're not doing any outdoor events, but when we were, it's a real task to get volunteers, and we're working very hard to develop that. So I'm sorry, I'll give the floor to you, Matt. I'm sorry.
No, I would. You answered my question. Thank you. I'm more just trying. I think, as John said, I'm more information gathering mode than anything else. It was helpful to get all that perspective. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
David, it's Dawn Perlmutter. I think the idea of the mask and the hashtag greetings from Yardley is wonderful. If you could have a mask with the hashtag greetings from Yardley, I think a lot of people are willing to donate money to do things like that. I think that would be fabulous, to get that idea out.
And certainly those kind of ideas, those promotions are possible in the future. In this case, they're just it's just a blank blue face mask. Someone kidded with me and said, well, I hope you're going to put our branding on it. I'm like, yeah, what? I'm going to stand there with a magic marker and sign 20,000 of them? I don't think so. But I do agree with you, Dawn, that we are going to be doing some projects like that. For instance, we are selling postcards with the greetings from Yardley mural, because that was the whole idea of the mural in the first place. It was supposed to look like one of those classic postcards from the 40s or 50s. And I certainly like to do more of that, maybe t-shirts, whatever. We're working in conjunction with some of the stores now, two in particular, obviously Commonplace Reader, because Elizabeth's on our board, but also Glenn Lowe, because he has Yardley General.
David, do you have plans to move forward with like Music on Main and Canal Halloween next year?
The answer is definite possibility.
I'm just saying, if things go back to fairly normal, is it something you're going to gear up for and plan for?
Look, I think that's something that I'd like to work in conjunction with people like yourself to get a indication of, over time, where do we think we stand as far as public safety? Because, I'm also on the Harvest Fest committee, and it was painful to cancel that. It was painful to cancel Canal Halloween, and of course Music on Main. And some people were wonderful and very supportive, because they understood that it's just 4 people making a decision about the safety of the community. But we got some really nasty comments from some out of town people who were just trolling us. And it's like, you know what, go back to your cave and leave us alone, because it's not we're not a government organization. We don't have lots of money. It's just 4 people who are sitting around a coffee table and making these decisions. So if I could bring some of these things to you or other people in the community, all the better. I welcome it. We welcome it.
So just a follow-up question. Actually, I had two questions. First one, does Experience Yardley own the trademark of Canal Halloween, or did Jeff own that personally?
Yeah, we own that.
Okay. And then what can we do as a, a government body? Is there anything that we can do in terms of, any type of legislation, or even just to help on a governmental level to kind of support your endeavors? Is there anything? I know you're having a meeting next week with us about a new project, which
Yeah.
we'll go to certainly. But is there anything else you could think of offhand?
Well, yeah, I think it brings up a good point. I think that the idea of Experience Yardley is to be as self-sufficient as possible. Jeff has been successful, and and I can announce that in a few days we're receiving $2,000 from the Pennsylvania Council of the Arts. I applied for that earlier in the month, and they said we got it, so that's coming. Plus, we'll be sorry about this picture. And we also were told that the 2021 grant will be available beginning in January, which I'll have to apply for at that time. But we also have a great relationship with Visit Bucks County. We're working with the Delaware River Towns Chamber of Commerce. I am looking for other grants. Now, the reason why I think it's twofold, why I think we should be as self-sufficient as possible is twofold. Number one, this is a not private organization. It's a nonprofit organization of residents of Yardley, I don't want to confuse or muddle the waters between us and the politics of running the borough. But I think you could appreciate that we gave the mural to the people. We're giving the stuff that we do to the residents of Yardley without any cost. And we haven't really asked for any money. We even began paying for some police support for Music on Main, Paula? Yeah. So in actuality, we're helping to build economic impact ourselves, even not just from the marketing and that we do, but from the projects that we have. So getting back to how you can help us, I would just say I'm going to be like, I'm not worthy, Paula. I'm so sorry. In all honesty, and I think Paula and John know better than anyone that Jeff made a decision to leave town, and I only had literally 2 weeks to pull it together. he calls me on a Saturday night. I'm trying to enjoy myself, and it's like, by the way, I'm moving in 2 weeks. I'm like, I'm sorry, I misheard you. I thought you said you're leaving town in 2 weeks. So you can imagine how why the mural project sort of got muddled, and but we're finding our way. I think, right, Paula, aren't we?
Very much so.
Yeah, and
we're happy to help.
And what I guess that gets back to my point is that now that we're finding our way and we sort of understand, we being the remaining 4 people that are on the board are finding our way, we can be a better partner, and you could be a better partner, because then you understand that what our intentions are, what our motivation is, and and for projects that it involves you, you'll know all the details, because we're asking for you to buy into it, and not just surprise you, like I did when I came up in the middle of the night and painted a mural on the side of the wall.
No, understood. Maybe this is a good forum where we can have these conversations, keep an open line of communication,
Right.
and also invite YPA too, and kind of have a larger group discussion about things that are going on and how we can support one another. I think is an important idea. So,
I hate to cut us off. We only have 2 minutes, and then we got to start public safety.
all right, anyone? Matt, do you have anything else, or David?
David, John, thank you to you. This is a great use of time, in terms of like actually stimulating this. And David, you were kind of on my list of someone I wanted to get to know anyway. So this is a first step with that. So thank you for coming in and sharing.
I wanted to just, with my last minute, geez, I feel sorry. I'm monopolizing all this time, but I just wanted to tell you on Friday, I have a one-to-one meeting with our state representative, Steve Sanciero. He's conducting interviews with various, nonprofit and economic development people. And he asked if I could help him with some understanding of, how the restaurants in particular have fared and, what our plans are to help them. So if anyone wants to have a discussion, because I sort of heard the tail end of some stuff as I was getting on that, and if I could relay anything to the senator, I'd be happy to do that.
Perfect.
So just get in touch. But that's on Friday, so I need to kind of do it before then. So let me let you do it. Do you need me on the public safety portion?
I
or am
don't think
good?
so.
Whoops.
Okay.
Congratulations on getting that grant.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
thank you. And I'll look for your check, Dawn.
All right. See you all soon.
You know.
All right, bye.